Hello, I'm Grover, and this is the Social Blog. Today's show will be discussing modern-day motherhood. Today's moms have more options than ever before, but they're also more conflicted. Should they work full-time and lean in, like Sheryl Sandberg suggests, or should they commit themselves to attachment parenting? Between breastfeeding, daycares, and tiger moms, today's moms often feel frustrated and disappointed, either with their careers or with their inability to be the perfect mom. We'll be discussing this modern-day identity crisis with our guests, so let's go to the studio and meet them. So joining me today now in the studio, two moms, Yefit Cohen, life and business coach and career management expert, very impressive, and Chen Krupnik, PR and marketing manager specializing in parenting and family. Thank you both for coming in here today.
Thank you for having us.
So tell me a little bit about yourself. Let's start with you, Yefit, about what you do, how many kids you have, how do you divide your time between all of these things in life?
All right. So first of all, as you said, I'm a life and business coach for the last 8 years. Prior to that, I was a senior executive in a marketing firm.
And what happened 8 years ago that you changed?
It's not 8 years ago. It's about 12 years ago.
Oh, sorry.
When my first child was born, my first daughter. And then I've realized that it's not working the way I want it to work. So I invented myself and started a new career.
Good for you. That's nice
that's
and impressive.
Part of the secret.
Yeah. We'll talk more about it later.
The 1980s brought the highest growth rate in working mothers in the USA in the past 150 years. But in the past decade, there's a new interesting trend. Today, according to the Pew Research Center, moms both work more hours and they also spend more hours a week with their children. Sounds impossible, but this is symbolic of how complicated motherhood has become. The pressure of both having a successful career, not just any job, while being a supermom is greater than ever before. And here's some more interesting statistics. According to the Pew Research Center, stay-at-home mothers have risen to 29% in 2012, up from a modern-era low of 23% in 1999. That's right, for whatever reason, economic or ideological, today more mothers are staying at home. Mothers like Lauren, who holds a master's degree but still has made the choice not to work.
All right, so let's begin with the obvious question. Is it even possible to have a career and be a good mom and be satisfied about how you are in both of these fields?
Yes. My sentence is what I believe with. No, takes hard work. I believe in being a good enough mother. You cannot be a perfect mother. I do my best. I do everything I can, and I'm a good enough mother. Even if I relate to everything Adi said, because sometimes I'm with them and I'm not really with them. But that's what I have to do to make my career start, and I can't give up my career because that's me, and then I can't be only a mother. I have to do things for myself, and I have to have money.
And there's still guilt. There's still something that you have to convince yourself that you're okay.
I think the real question here is, what is your definition of successful career, and what is your definition as a woman of good motherhood? And the key, I think, first of all, you have to ask yourself, what is a successful life for you? Once you define that, you're going to be satisfied with your definition of it, and then you stick to what you decide that this is a successful life for me. My personal definition of successful life in general is exactly that, the ability to combine the two things together. I look up to women who manage to do both, men and women. If they manage to do it both, that's for me is inspiring.
Yeah. You know, we've heard all sorts of approaches in this past year. Sheryl Sandberg, she made some headlines telling women they should lean in, work harder. Do you think women in general have too many expectations of themselves? Does society have too many expectations of mothers?
Of course they do.
I think society has more because just like Yefit said, if you think you're okay, then stick to it. And no matter what they say about you, if your mother or the kindergarten teacher thinks less of you, it doesn't matter. But yes, we're still stuck in things that women have to show more.
Yeah.
They have to be perfect. And we forget that they're mothers and fathers, so we don't have to lean in all the way. We can do it together.
All right, let's take a look now at this TEDx talk by author Katrina Alcorn about why leaning in can cause a mother to burn out completely. Here it is.
But the question is, how are you supposed to lean in when you're already maxed out? As many of us have learned the hard way, sometimes you lean in and you fall right over. We're still stuck in traditional gender roles. And so even when both parents are working, mothers are still doing a lot more child care and housework. We're also doing a lot more multitasking. We have less leisure time, and to add salt to the wound, we feel more guilt about it and more exhaustion as well. So it shouldn't be a surprise then that women are more at risk for the health effects of this stress. We're 60% more likely to suffer an anxiety disorder. We're 70% more likely to suffer depression. So we're all living in a half-changed world. On one hand, we're supposed to do our jobs as if we don't have families, and then we're supposed to be raising our families as if we don't have jobs.
Yeah. Well, if this is true, then should there be a bigger change? Should society change its approach to this rather than just women change how much energy they put into parenting?
I think
into
that
work and parenting.
I think that the most important thing to understand here is what we are asked to do now in this age as mothers was never done before. So we have nobody to look up to. My mother certainly didn't do it. So we have to invent ourselves. We have to make our own way. So there is not right or wrong. There is no right and wrong. There is my way and there's your way. Yeah. And there's no guide. If there was any guide, we probably would have got it.
It'd be a lot easier, no doubt. This leads us to today's post, which explores the state of working mothers around the world. Mothers in some countries, like Sweden, for instance, actually have it pretty good. Check it out.
Can women have it all? And by all, we mean having a career and children. In the 20th century, women began to work. They burned their bras. Contraception and abortion were introduced to the masses. So in the 21st century, women should finally be able to have a career and family, right? Well, this past summer, the CEO of PepsiCo, Indra Nooyi, who's ranked by Forbes as one of the most powerful women in the world, said in an interview, "If you ask my daughters, they'll probably say I wasn't a good mom." So I guess you can have it all. What is an aspiring career mother to do? If you live in the States, you can check the rankings of the best companies for working moms, which will not fire or blackmail you for being a mother. Or you can move to Sweden, the most friendly country for working moms, where the employed women rate is among the highest in Europe, fertility rates are high, and where working mothers and fathers can equally split their 13-month paid paternity-maternity leave. So by the way, why don't we ask men if they can have it all? Because ultimately, women are still the ones paying the price. In Europe, 1 of every 3 women stay at home, while less than 1% of men do. And the more children they have, the longer they stay home. It's even worse in countries like Japan, where 60% of Japanese women quit their jobs after their first child. What's more, today, being a good mother is more complicated than ever, and the more books you read, the more complicated it gets. Lactation consultants, baby whisperers, sleep training, being a tiger mom, or attachment parenting, the list goes on and on. At the end of the day, a woman has to choose between having a great career or being a great mom. And if you're a woman and all this is making you scream, no, you're not hysterical, you're just angry.
All right, so let's start with Yuchen on this matter, because you work in the field. You know, nowadays there's tiger moms, there's attachment parenting, there's all kind of brands of parenting. Is it just getting too complicated?
Both, because first of all, when we were born, our mothers didn't know how to ask for help, and they were people that didn't know how to give help. So now if you need some help breastfeeding or sleeping, you can have a professional trainer that can help you. On the other hand, you have a sleeping consultant and breastfeeding consultant and how to talk to your kids, and then you can't think for yourself and do the right things.
Two people will also give you 2 different answers.
Don't ask more than 2 people. You ask 2 doctors, you'll get 4 opinions. So
not to mention what happens if you actually Google it and
always go with your feeling.
But all the guides are telling mothers that's amazing what they should do. There's no guy who tells a mother, you're fine, you're okay. Everybody is telling them what they should be doing and they are not doing. Yeah. Only increasing the frustration which we already have.
Yeah. It is really tricky. I mean, no question about it, because some of these feel like they just want to make a sell. You know, before we end, let's make it a little more personal. Can you tell us a little bit about your schedule, Yafit, really quickly, if you can?
I work, not full-time, but I work, and I do manage to combine the two things. 3 days a week at least, I sit for lunch with my kids. I have 3 of them. I sit down with them, I even make their lunch. But the real thing here is time is a limited resource, no matter what you do. You have to...
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, we're out of time as well. Thank you both, Yafit.
Thank you.
Thank you at home for watching as well. I hope you enjoyed our show and that you'll choose to join us again next week. Bye-bye.